Now that I'm back in the darkroom, I'm going to close down my aperture one stop because my test strip overall was way too dark. I'm going to turn on my enlarger, spin my aperture. See the light got a little bit darker. Right there. Got a little bit darker. That's one f-stop on the aperture. I'm going to turn off my enlarger. Now when you spin the aperture on the enlarger, one stop, the amount of light that comes out of the enlarger is cut in half. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear off another test strip, put it under my negatives, do the same thing I did before, only exposing a section of my paper 3 seconds at a time. I'm going to develop it and look at it again outside of the darkroom. So I closed up my aperture and did another test strip, which is right here. And I decided that this test strip still wasn't light enough. It still got dark too quick. I did another test strip up here where I closed down the aperture yet again. And this looks pretty good overall. So this is 3 seconds, 6, 9, 12, and 18. I think 18 is a little bit too dark, but I'm sorry, this was 15. And this is 12. I think 15 is a little too dark, and 12 looks just about right for a contact sheet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back in the darkroom, make one entire test strip at 12 seconds. Now that I've done my fourth test strip here, I'm looking at this, and this actually looks pretty good overall as far as exposure. It looks like it might be a little bit dark at 12 seconds. So I may do the final print at 11 seconds, but it looks pretty solid. So actually what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back in the darkroom and make a final print, a final full-fledged page contact sheet at 11 seconds, because this looks pretty good. One thing I would like to point out is you can notice that this test strip and some of these other test strips are yellowing a little bit, and that's because I didn't put them through the chemicals for the full amount of time. If I do the full contact sheet and only put through the chemicals for about 15 seconds each, it's going to yellow like these and won't look very good. But when I go back in, I'm going to do the actual full amounts of time for developer stop. Okay. Now that I'm ready for my full size contact print, I'm going to put my negatives under the sheet of paper. Close my contact printer. Set my enlarger for 11 seconds. Start exposing my paper. And now I'm going to go over to the trays and put my contact prints through the chemicals for the full amount of time. Okay, now that I've exposed my paper for 11 seconds, I'm going to develop my contact sheet for the full amount of time. Now I'm going to put my contact sheet in the developer and agitate it for 1 full minute. Now that I've developed my contact sheet for 1 minute, I'm going to let the chemicals, the developer, drip off of it. I'm going to put my contact sheet into the stop. And I'm going to stop my contact sheet for 3 minutes. And I'm going to agitate my tray for 15 seconds at the end of every minute. Now that I've stopped my contact sheet, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it light safe so it doesn't turn yellow. And I need to fix my contact sheet for 8 minutes and agitate every 15 seconds at the end of each minute. now that I've developed my contact sheet, just taking a final look at it, and it looks pretty good. Overall, I can see all of my images on it. They all look like they have a pretty good, even exposure. I'm going to go back in my darkroom and wash this off and keep it. Alright, now that I've looked at my contact sheet and decided that I like it, I'm going to keep it. The final thing for me to do is to wash my contact sheet for 10 minutes. I'm just going to stick it in my print washer right here. And wait 10 minutes and come back, take my contact sheet out and dry it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make a contact sheet.